All right, it's a blessed weekend today, my people. I'm not urging you to watch this video. Rather, if you come across this video and you sit comfortably and watch this video to the very end of it, you are the luckiest person. Yes, right now, I told you that it's going to be very brutal to the Nigerian government. You thought we are just playing. This very video you are about to watch is a video of how these American officials exposed the master plan of the Islamization of this country, and they are now calling for the total arrest of this idiot to call the Tinubu their president, and Sultan of Sokoto, and Sheikh Gumi. Yes, so my people, I'm urging you to just grab your seat, sit comfortably. Let us see why this video is making wave all over the internet, because this is what they have been hiding since 220 years ago, and today the evil plan have been exposed. What you're about to watch have finally exposed what causes the Biafran war. And what you're about to watch have finally exposed how Osman Dan Fodio conquered the northern part of Nigeria to make it as an Islamic empire to his own kinsmen. And what you're about to watch have finally elaborate how the other European countries and some Asians who are Muslim countries supported this jihad that is going on in Nigeria today. And what you're about to watch also is going to teach you how the Britain handed the master key to the northern caliphates. My people, what you're about to watch today will only enlighten you to know more about this country called Nigeria and stand whether you're going to remain in this country or to go in your separate way. They call for the arrest of Tinubu, they call for arrest of Zazaki, they call for arrest of Sultan of Sokoto, they call for arrest of Sheikh Gumi. Is a welcome development. So please, just sit. Let us see why this video is making wave all over the internet. It's a welcome development. I told you that it's going to happen, and it's happening today. Thank God it's the weekend. Watch this video because it's happening for real. Let's watch the video.
Flooding into Nigeria to launch Muhammad's prophesied final global jihad. I'm Mike Arnold. I've made 16 trips to Nigeria, to the front lines of the Christian genocide. I built schools for displaced children there, and I wrote Epicenter, the best-selling book about what's happening. Here's what you must know and what nobody is telling you. When you hear it, you will not be able to look at the situation in Nigeria or global security the same way again. 14 centuries ago, Muhammad prophesied that a descendant of his bloodline, called the Mahdi, would rise at the end of days, ride west under a black banner, defeat the Christian armies in a bloody jihad, and bring the whole earth under one global caliphate. For that to happen, the doctrine says, a purified Islamic platform must be ready, a launch pad. The Islamic world believes they have found it in Nigeria. In 1804, a direct blood descendant of Muhammad, named Usman Dan Fodio, launched a jihad in what is now northern Nigeria. He founded the Sokoto Caliphate explicitly as the launch pad for the coming of the Mahdi. He killed as many as 250,000 and displaced millions to establish the largest pre-colonial empire in Africa, bigger population than Pharaoh's Egypt, using the exact same tactics we see today: massacre, beheading, destruction, rape, displacement, and slavery, all while shouting Allahu Akbar. Usman Dan Fodio wrote more than 100 books. In them, he positioned himself as the Mujaddid, the renewer of his Islamic century, whose mission was to prepare the way for the coming of the Mahdi. He believed the Mahdi would appear in the caliphate he founded while his descendants sat on the throne. In other words, he saw himself as, effectively, the Islamic John the Baptist, making the way for their jihad messiah. At its peak, Dan Fodio's Sokoto Caliphate held as many as 2.5 million slaves. The British never conquered the caliphate. They cut a deal. Indirect rule, they called it, and let the caliphate stay in power as their enforcers. The Mahdi's launch pad survived. Muhammad's bloodline kept the throne. The British forcibly chained the vibrant, largely Christian, English-speaking South to this dark, feudal caliphate. Before they granted independence in 1960, the British federalized the vast oil reserves of the South, gave full control of the new federal government to the north, and cut a sweetheart deal to keep looting the nation's black gold. In 1967, a portion of the southeast known as Biafra, at the time the fastest growing economic region on earth, sought independence from the caliphate's genocidal grip. In response, the northern warlords enforced a total blockade, declaring starvation a legitimate tool of war. They even shot down Red Cross aid planes. With Britain's full backing, in 30 months they starved to death some 3 million Biafrans, mainly children. The survivors were subdued, their wealth confiscated, a generation buried in mass graves, the history erased. Welcome to Nigeria, a so-called secular democracy, where today's constitution was written by an Islamic dictator and mentions Sharia law and other Islamic terms 165 times. Christianity, 0. Sitting on that caliphate throne today is Sultan Saad Abubakar III, the 20th hereditary heir of Dan Fodio, and the spiritual head of West Africa's 108 million Muslims. One bloodline, Muhammad to Dan Fodio to today's Sultan. 1,400 years of prophecy, waiting. Today, Islamic fundamentalists around the world believe the moment has come. The Islamic State has declared Africa their divinely empowered land. The majority of global ISIS propaganda now comes out of Nigeria. Foreign fighters from the Middle East, North Africa, the Sahel, even Europe, are streaming in as religious pilgrims, not immigrants. They believe this is where Allah has called them to die for the fulfillment of Muhammad's prophecy. Sheikh Zakzaki is founder of the Islamic movement of Nigeria, an Iran proxy with 3 million members across Nigeria. His organization has an armed wing, documented weapons caches, and a history of mass mobilization. In February 2026, speaking in Nigeria's capital of Abuja, he declared, quote, "We are not merely waiting for the reappearance of the Imam Mahdi so that we may follow him afterwards. We are his followers today. Here is our global leader, and the affairs of the Ummah," that's the global Muslim community, "are already under his guidance." He also said, "Readiness before the reappearance is one of the central missions of the followers of the Imam Mahdi." Leading Islamic nations are actively helping build the Mahdi's launchpad in Nigeria today. Turkey just signed a major deal with President Bola Tinubu to train Nigerian troops using a group whose stated mission is to, quote, "pave the way for the long-awaited Mahdi by helping the Islamic world achieve military superpower status." Iran, whose entire regime exists to hasten the Mahdi, has helped build Zakzaki's massive Islamic movement in Nigeria. Saudi Arabia spent decades building the doctrinal pipeline that birthed Boko Haram, and Qatar is the banker. The movement's toll is staggering. Since the founding of the caliphate, the start of this jihad, as many as 6 million Nigerians dead, 10 million enslaved, 25 million displaced. Since 2009 alone, 125,000 Christians slaughtered, along with 60,000 peaceful Muslims who refused to join the jihad, according to Nigeria's human rights group, Inner Society. More than 20,000 churches destroyed. Today, 80% of all Christians killed worldwide for their faith are killed in Nigeria, most by jihadis from the same tribe, same caliphate, same prophecy, using the exact same tactics Dan Fodio used 222 years ago. Allahu Akbar. This is the longest running and longest active genocide on earth, a hidden Holocaust. Today in Nigeria, college girls are burned to death for praising Jesus on WhatsApp, and nobody is punished. Farmers are sentenced to death for defending themselves against terrorists. The Chinese are looting vast amounts of blood minerals and funding the jihad groups to clear the land, bribing the military and political leaders to look the other way. A prisoner of conscience named Nnamdi Kanu is serving a life sentence in Sokoto prison for truth spoken in England, illegally abducted from another country, and convicted under a law no longer on the books. Youth are executed in the street by federal police. Influencers who speak the truth are taken, tortured, and disappeared. Thousands of men, women, and children are abducted, held in what can only be called concentration camps, many tortured and killed in sophisticated kidnapping schemes pioneered by Boko Haram. Nigeria's 50 million school children are today being forcibly indoctrinated by the government. The man in control of the nation's curriculum, from preschool through college, is the world's leading expert on the Islamization of knowledge, and he considers it an intellectual jihad. As many as 10 to 12 million peaceful and productive Nigerians have been forced from their ancestral lands, living and dying in the most horrible conditions imaginable, denied recognition and aid by the government. Without intervention, it is expected that as many as 50% will be radicalized in the next few years. That's 5 to 6 million more jihadis. At the same time, the government gives captured terrorists room, board, and free classes, then releases them back to the community, rehabilitated. Many are even given government jobs. Statistics show most are likely to go right back to killing. On May 16th, President Trump killed the world's #2 ISIS commander in a strike on his compound in Nigeria. Nigeria's government had given this terrorist cover officially by declaring him dead 2 years ago. But strikes alone will not stop what the jihadis believe is the fulfillment of a 1,400-year-old prophecy. The caliphate has a 222-year head start. They are hijacking the nation's inevitable rise, on track to become the third most populous nation on earth by 2050, a top 5 oil producer with $1 trillion in mineral reserves, making more movies than Hollywood and dominating the streaming charts. They see Nigeria today as the greatest platform in history for the Mahdi to finally come and conquer the world. President Trump, you must act now. You have rightly called radical Islamic jihad the greatest threat to our national security. Nigeria is the epicenter. You must know that working with the Nigerian government to end this genocide is like working with the Third Reich to end the Holocaust. You cannot stop this with sanctions. Jihadis are prepared to die for their cause. And China is more than happy to backfill any economic loss we impose on Tinubu's regime. Nigerian officials are today disarming and prosecuting defenders while arming the terrorists. They are rewarding captured terrorists while smothering millions of innocent displaced victims. They are violently suppressing truth speakers and spending millions to propagate lies in Washington. Top Tinubu administration officials have recently called the killers brothers and prodigal sons who deserve to be rehabilitated. The radicals have fully hijacked the school system with the philosophy of Boko Haram. As you have found in Iran, you cannot simply negotiate or partner with people who believe Allah has called them to fulfill a 1,400-year-old prophecy. And that is exactly what you are facing in Nigeria. But I believe you can flip Nigeria without a war. The people of Nigeria are incredible. They have unlimited potential. They rise to the top wherever they go in the world. Give them the chance to do that at home, and they will build an amazing nation, a real Wakanda, and America's greatest ally in Africa, a lighthouse of freedom in a dark part of the world. Just watch. President Tinubu is guilty of genocide today for his denial of recognition and aid to the displaced citizens. Indict him, arrest him. The Sokoto Caliphate must be investigated as a terrorist sponsor and dealt with accordingly. 2 centuries of history and overwhelming evidence demand it. Keep striking the terrorists, and you must know the Fulani militia are killing most of the Christians today, not ISIS. Hit them too. Take them all out.
Are you listening?
Conduct a full census of the displaced. Interview them. They are eyewitnesses to genocide. And help coordinate the international aid they desperately need. Finally, ensure a free and fair referendum for a new constitution written by and for the people. Allow them to determine their own boundaries and watch them rise. Islamic jihadists today are finally recognized as the greatest threat to global security. Today, the Sokoto Caliphate in Nigeria is the only throne in the world that meets the classical Sunni requirements for a legitimate caliphate. And it was built explicitly to be the platform for the prophesied Mahdi, the launch pad for the final jihad to conquer the world. This is the epicenter. If we do not fight this fight in Nigeria today, we will fight it here in our own backyard tomorrow.
Now that you have seen the video, you have seen the reason why all the Northerners are so proud to be Islamic jihadists. Now that you have watched the video, you have seen the reason why the Fulani Caliphate are always installing their casement in the key posts in Nigeria, both in the governor, the senate, and some other important key posts in Nigeria. You have seen the reason. Now that you have watched the video, you have gained a lot of knowledge for what that they have been hidden for a decade. Now that you have watched the video, you have seen the reason why they are still upholding Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto prison. Now that you have watched the video, you have seen why the Northerners always telling you that, oh, they are born to be ruled. Not the Hausas. The Hausas are the infidels. The Hausas have become the slave to the Fulani people. You see what that is happening in Nigeria? That is why I told you that we keep on exposing this evil caliphate. Sultan of Sokoto is an agent of darkness. Sheikh Gumi is an agent of darkness. Ezazaki is an agent of darkness. Osman Danfodio, their forefathers, are the evils who perfected these jihadists to come and conquer and establish Islamic Caliphate in Nigeria. And today is happening in your present eye. It's either you belong or they unalive you. And we say no to it. We the Biafrans have gone in our separate way. We can never condone this evil because we can never be conquered by anybody. And that is the main reason why we keep telling you is either Biafra or nothing. We are going to stand firm and challenge this evil terrorists. After this truth has been surfaced, thank God for America to come hard on Nigeria and the sponsors of these Islamic terrorists. This man called Mike Arnold, our God, will never put you to shame. You are doing a great job for exposing this evil. You see, one Nigeria is a crime against humanity, and we say no to it. It's either Biafra or nothing. Well, who am I? I'm only a messenger. If you love what we do here in this Global Love Channel TV, please don't hesitate to touch a hand for subscribe button, like and turn on the notification bell, so that whenever we upload a new video like this, you'll be the first person to be notified. And in doing that, we encourage you to do more, because togetherness we shall save life together. Africa is always a great continent. It's either Biafra or nothing. Till next time, see you in my next video. Bye for now. Thank you. Shalom.